Ahoj, ja som lektorka Kika a ty počúvaš podcast Prakticky anglicky. Mojím cieľom je pomôcť ti na tvojej ceste k plynulej angličtine a ukázať ti, že učenie sa jazykov je skrátka lifestyle. Tak čo, si ready? Chorí na Kanárskych ostrovoch znie ako zlý sen, ale my sme to nejak dali a užili sme si náš čas tam, aspoň ako sa dalo. Čauko, dnes sa po dlhšej dobe znova počujeme a to pri cestovateľských denníkoch. Tieto cestovateľské by som chcela nahovoriť jednoduchšou angličtinou aj pre mojich menej zabehnutých angličtinárov, tak mi daj do komentu vedieť, či môže byť, alebo by si preferovala ešte trošku jednoduchší prejav. Z našej cesty som si natočila aj také mini cestovateľské videjko, ktoré nájdeš na YouTube, link dám do popisu. No a ak potrebuješ prepis, tak ho nájdeš na blogu, prípadne v YouTubeovom videu s týmito cestovateľskými nájdeš prepis aj priamo v ňom. A je to taká novinka, ktorú mám, doteraz som to takto nerobila, ale ak si pustíš YouTube, tak tam máš priamo aj ten prepis, alebo ak si vo vlaku, v autobuse, no tak si otvor môj blog, alebo možno len tak počúvaj a uvidíš, koľko budeš rozumieť aj bez toho prepisu. Nezabudni mi hodiť odber na Spotify, hoď mi hviezdičky, veľmi mi to pomôže dostať sa medzi ďalších angličtinárov a odpovedz mi na anketky pod epizódou. Na stiahnutie u mňa už nájdeš niekoľko e-bookov, najnovší mám pre maturantov k maturitnému slohu, ale je vhodný aj pre budúcich maturantov, alebo ak sa chceš všeobecne zlepšiť v písaní rôznych slohových žánrov. No a všetky odkazy na sociálne siete a to, čo som spomenula, nájdeš v popise. Without further ado, let's get started. Bez ďalších okolkov, poďme na to. Our trip was in November, which is a pretty cold autumn month in Slovakia. However, there it is a little bit different. Tenerife, with its temperatures around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius during the day, were the perfect escape. It gets a little bit chilly at night, but nothing too bad. We landed at the South Airport and rented a car from Sikar, which was affordable and problem-free. I can really recommend this car rental company. Our accommodation was in Costa del Silencio, a quiet and budget-friendly area, costing around €12 per night per person for our group of 5. We stayed at a 3-bedroom apartment. It was nothing fancy, but it did the job. I was there with my partner, my sister, and my parents. On our first day, we visited Los Cristianos, a lovely coastal town. We walked along the promenade, enjoyed the sea views, and admired the beautiful sea life graffiti featuring whales and tortoises or turtles. It was a wonderful walk, and we ended the day with a nice dinner and a thunderstorm far on the horizon. Ešte by som mala poznamenať, že španielčina nie je nejaká moja silná stránka, takže aj keď zmasakrujem nejaký názov, tak ma prosím ťa ospravedlň a ak si chceš pozrieť naozaj ten názov a vyhľadať si, tak určite čekni ten prepis. On our second day, we started by visiting the beautiful Arco de Tajo, a natural rock bridge. It's a unique geological formation with breathtaking views, and in the distance, we could see El Teide, the towering volcano, accompanied by wind turbines along the horizon. That was when I found out my camera didn't work. What a lovely thing to find out when I have already transported it from Slovakia so many kilometers away. Whatever. Next, we headed towards Candelaria, a charming historic town famous for its well-preserved Basilica of Candelaria. We wandered through the narrow streets lined with colorful buildings and stopped for a delicious treat of empanadas and coffee. At this point, my boyfriend was already feeling sick, so we went to the local pharmacy for some pick-me-ups in the form of medicine. After, we made our way to a black sand beach typical for volcanic islands like Tenerife. The contrast between the dark sand and the blue waters was so cool, and we couldn't resist dipping our toes into the cool Atlantic waters. Right next to this place is a viral Instagram location, Boca Cangarejo, something like that. Beautifully painted streets in a village in the rocks. It was such a magical place with narrow paths and the ocean hitting the coast, some surfboards lying around, and cactuses added to the overall vibe. But I gotta say that we didn't see the paintings. We saw them only in this Insta video. And actually, when we came there, a guy was painting over these beautiful, colorful pictures with gray paint. So I don't recommend trying to find this place because it's not there anymore. Yeah. Finally, we reached Santa Cruz, the Tenerife, the bustling capital of the island. We took some time to explore the usually lively Mercado Municipal Nuestra Señora de Africa, a local market filled with fresh produce. However, it wasn't so lively when we were there because it was actually closed. We came too late. LOL. Still nice though, because there was a Christmas tree already decorated in the middle of the ground floor. Anyone who knows me is very well aware of my love for Christmas. The city center came alive with beautiful Christmas lights, adding to the festive atmosphere. We took some time to explore it and also took some photos with the sign Love Santa Cruz. For dinner, I treated myself to a bowl of ramen, a satisfying end to a full day of exploration. On our way back, we saw the stunning Auditorio de Tenerife. As far as I understood, it is a theater or some kind of an art center. It looks like a giant wave and is one of the city's most iconic landmarks. However, the outskirts of the capital city are quite industrial looking. By the way, driving in Tenerife is absolutely doable, nothing to worry about. On day 3, we had big plans to visit Mount Teide, the iconic volcano. We were all set with our winter clothes because, unlike the rest of Tenerife, it gets really cold up there, especially at the summit. However, we received a SMS notification the day before that the trip was cancelled due to bad weather conditions. It was a bit disappointing since we were looking forward to experiencing the volcano up close, but I've gotta say the refund process was smooth. We got our money back quickly, and I highly recommend signing up for those SMS notifications if you are planning to visit. It saved us from wasting time driving up only to find out the trip was off. So, we adjusted our plans and went swimming in Charcos Los Chochos, pools which were formed by volcanic eruptions. You might be thinking, isn't it too cold to swim in November? Not really. The water was refreshing, that is for sure, but not freezing. Our next stop was Garachico, a small coastal town that's famous for its natural rock pools as well. They are all around Tenerife, and you can just choose maybe on Google which ones you like the best. Garachico itself is a charming place with narrow streets and a laid-back vibe. perfect for unwinding and having something to eat. Later in the day, we wanted to visit a lighthouse. However, we didn't realize that the road leading there was closed. It turns out the lighthouse is only accessible on certain days and times. So if you are planning to visit, make sure to check the schedule in advance. As you can see, we got unlucky with so many things, and that's not even the end. On our fourth day in Tenerife, we had planned to visit the Cueva del Viento, one of the largest volcanic tubes in the world. It's like cave, I would say. However, upon arrival, we learned that tours require prior booking, which we hadn't done. It's a popular attraction and tours fill up quickly, so if you are planning to visit, again, be sure to book in advance. On the third, we decided to explore some of Tenerife's beautiful gardens. We visited Mercasado de la Quinta Roja garden, viewpoint and garden located in the hills in the town of La Orotava. In the historic center of La Orotava, we discovered a large nativity scene which was spread across the whole square. Dajme si tu takú malú slovenskú vsúku. A nativity scene je vlastne náš Bethlehem. I cannot forget about a shot of specialty coffee in the cafe called Slow Coffee. Next, we visited the Drago Milenario, the ancient dragon tree located in the town of Icod de los Vinos. This tree is estimated to be between 800 and 1,000 years old and is considered a symbol of Tenerife. There is also a mariposa, a butterfly garden outside of this complex, but we didn't end up visiting. We rather headed down to the ocean and swam in other volcanic pools. I just love how refreshing it was. Later, we explored the Gordejuela water pumping station, also known as Casa Hamilton, an abandoned building from the early 20th century. Despite its ruined state, the structure is considered one of the most beautiful abandoned buildings in the world. It was pumping water to the banana plantations back in the day. Day 5 didn't start off too great for me. I woke up with a terrible migraine that just wouldn't go away. I tried taking some medication, but it didn't really help. And to make matters worse, I started feeling sick. It was almost like a domino effect. My sister was sick before the holiday, my boyfriend got sick during the holiday and got better in a few days, and then it hit me. I even had ear pain, which made things a bit challenging. Despite feeling under the weather, we continued our trip and headed to the Masca Valley, one of Tenerife's most famous spots. It's a picturesque valley with dramatic cliffs and winding roads. There is a big rock formation there, and you can do plenty of hikes around the area if you are up for it. The parking situation, though, was a bit tricky. It's quite limited, and you can only park for around 30 minutes, I think. So keep that in mind if you plan to visit. But despite all of that, the views were stunning, and it was well worth the effort. On the way back, we stopped at Los Gigantes, another must-see in Tenerife. These are massive cliffs that drop straight to the ocean. We stopped at a cafe near the viewpoint, but honestly, the cafe there wasn't great, so maybe skip that spot. After that, we made our way to Costa Areje and decided to have some paella. I mean, you cannot visit a Spanish island without trying that, right? But I'll admit, it's not really my favorite dish. We finished off the day by walking through Costa Adeje at night. The beach was beautiful, and even though I wasn't feeling my best, it was a nice way to end the day. Oh, and a quick visit to the pharmacy to grab some medicine for my ear didn't do much to help. Monday was a bit of a rough day. My ear pain had gotten worse, and it became clear that I needed to see a doctor. I think it started with a runny nose and the infection spread to my ears. So I found a clinic and ended up waiting for 3 hours, which felt like forever. The whole situation was frustrating. I was in pain, trying to sort things out with my insurance company over the phone. And one of the ladies at the reception didn't want to speak English with me, even though she was fluent. I found it out after 2 hours of waiting there. It was supposed to be the best clinic on the island. Sure. After all that, I paid around 250 euros for what turned out to be a 2-minute examination. The doctor was nice enough, and he spoke a little English. He prescribed me antibiotics, which I was able to pick up at a pharmacy nearby. So after 3 hours of waiting, I finally had my medicine. Thankfully, my insurance reimbursed me, gave me my money back a few weeks later, but it was still a frustrating experience. To make the day a little better, we had an amazing Indian dinner that night. Garlic naan, cheese naan, masala sauce, and so on. The food was just perfect. After that, we kept things pretty chill for the rest of the evening. Tuesday was our last day in Tenerife. We didn't have much time left, but we made the most of it. We headed down to a little beach near our accommodation in Costa del Silencio. The beach was quiet and a great spot to relax before we wrapped up our trip. The last spot we checked was Castillo de San Miguel, but from the outside it looked like nobody was there. Nothing special, really. Before heading to the airport, we had a delicious meal at an Asian restaurant. It was a nice final touch to our time in Tenerife. After that, we headed to the airport and made our way back home to freezing weather. And that, my friends, was the end of our adventure. Maybe not the end. I still wanted to say that I almost didn't survive the flight because my ear pain was still excruciating. So yeah, I'm glad I'm here because the last 20 minutes of us landing, that was just crazy. No a teraz premýšľam, koľkokrát som naozaj v tomto podcaste povedala Tenerife, maybe 20, rátal to niekto? Daj mi vedieť do komentáru. Dobre, tak to už bude asi všetko. Troška som to tu pretiahla, sme cez 20 minút, takže verím, že si dopočúvala až sem, že ťa to bavilo. Tieto cestovateľské sú pre mňa vždy veľmi nice, pretože si prežijem akoby znova ten trip, o ktorom hovorím. No a počujeme sa pri ďalšej epizóde. Bye bye. Ak sa ti dnešná epizóda páčila, daj mi o tom vedieť. Nájdeš ma na webe alebo Instagrame v popise podcastu. Počujeme sa next time.